Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the prison called life. We are back again in the prison called life. Hope you guys are good in the prison called life. Now, one of the things that I've had to come to terms with, like I was always just trying to find a cure for how I feel. I'm somebody that has always dealt with anxiety for as long as I can remember. There are things that I wanted to try out, but I would be nervous, I would be uneasy, I would be comfortable. I would feel like, if I would feel like if I would do this, like maybe something wrong might happen. Those kinds of feelings. So over the years, I've tried to find ways to manage it, and now it's actually gotten a lot better. It's a lot better. I can get out of the house without overthinking as much, because usually it comes to overthinking, thinking about the potential dangers that can happen. Maybe when you're driving, maybe when you get to that place, you overthink, I need to do this when I get there. That's all anxiety, just playing with your head, before you leave the house and you're already thinking about where you're going and what's the situation gonna be like. You're trying to assess everything, make sure that you get everything right before you go there. For some people it might seem like you're a cautious person, but from what I've seen, that's just no way to live. But that's how I've lived. That's how I've always lived. That's how I'm always living now. I feel like but like I said, now it has gotten a lot better. But I feel like before going to a particular place or to wherever, I have to mentally prepare myself. I have to know what I'm going to expect when I get there. I have to know how am I going to mitigate any potential dangers or any dangerous situation that might happen. I can't help but to think those things. Ever since I was young, to me it always occurred to me like, okay, maybe you're just extra cautious. But no, man, this feeling of uneasiness, it's something that I would experience every day until finally I would get on medication for anxiety. But I don't know if that cured my anxiety, but I mostly just remember it making me feel numb, just constantly numb like a robot. So I don't know what it was doing to me, but it just made me feel numb for most of the time I was on the medication. Every time I would take it, I would just be there numb, not really taking a joke, not really smiling or anything. I would just be like, I'm here and I exist. So the the harsh truth that I had to come to terms with is that anxiety never really goes away. You can do many things, it just never goes away. I feel like maybe I inherited it, or like it has always been inherent, it has always been a part of my nature, that I'm anxious. It's something that I've had to deal with all my life ever since I was young. I've always been skeptical of going out and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, maybe you're just an introvert or something like that. But for the most part, I realized that my anxiety was actually holding me back on a lot of things. I could have done a lot of things when I look back, but I was always stopped by my fear and uneasiness that really were just in my head. People would do something and they would be all right, but when it came to me, I would overthink that, what if this happens, what if. And sometimes I would just say, you know what, screw this, I'm giving it a shot, and nothing happens. And for that moment, I'm proud of myself. But it doesn't mean tomorrow I'm not gonna overthink. It doesn't mean tomorrow the same thing just keeps on happening. Like it never really goes away. Even if you take the meds, unless you're prepared to be on the meds for a lifetime, because that will be the case, it doesn't go away. It can get better when you keep practicing, when you keep talking to yourself and training yourself. Okay, stop overthinking. Maybe just for your sake, for the sake of your peace of mind, you know all the fears that you have, maybe address them for a little bit and tell yourself that no, that's not gonna happen, that's ridiculous. You challenge your anxiety and tell it, no, that's not gonna happen, that's ridiculous, we're gonna go there, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be fine. Why can other people do it and I can't do it? That's ridiculous. Those are ridiculous thoughts. That's what you should be telling yourself. Otherwise, you're gonna be a prisoner to this darkness in your mind where really you just, you know, like it's very, very difficult, man. It's a very difficult position to be in. I don't want to lie to you, and sometimes I remember when I was young, I would ask myself, why am I this way? Why can't I ever just relax? Why can't I ever just take things easy? Why am I always on edge? Why am I always suspicious? Why am I always looking over my back? Why am I always checking my bank account, even though I know I have enough money to go and pay for something, even more than enough money, but I would just check, is it there? I don't want the card to decline when I get there. You just be checking, is it there? I'm not sure. You just check, just do a little check. I'm not sure if it's there. But these are what people with anxiety go through. Just in case you never understood what anxiety feels like, this is exactly what anxious people go through. So, and sometimes it goes hand in hand with depression. It can sometimes cause depression, but I don't want to talk too much about that. Right now, I'm just talking about the demon that is anxiety. So it really takes a lot, man. It's a fight that you battle with every day. It's something that you fight with every day. And no matter what, you cannot stop it. You cannot stop the overthinking. And oh, God forbid that you plant something in your head and somebody wants to come and make a suggestion over what you planned. Then you're gonna be like, come on, man. I planned this in my mind. So now if you coming with that suggestion, it means I now have to make another plan on how to mitigate the potential dangers of the suggestion you came up with. Do you see how ridiculous it is? Like you're sort of always in this calculative mode. You don't wanna screw up on anything. You wanna be perfect. You don't wanna get caught in a situation and you find yourself in a circumstance that you don't have a solution for. You just always want to make sure that everything is perfect. Everything that you've planned in your mind, you want it to be perfect. You don't want to screw up. And honestly, that's so that's just being so harsh on yourself, because mistakes happen. This is the world. People make mistakes. You should always be prepared for things to go in a totally unexpected manner. But for people with anxiety, they do not want that. They want things to always go the way that they planned in their head. They do not want any unexpected turns. If that happens, oh my God, when they have to adapt to an unexpected thing that just happened, they just freak out. That's why you find some people getting anxiety panic attacks, because they didn't think that what happened just happened. So now they just get panic attacks. Luckily, I've never had to deal with panic attacks. I've always managed to try and calm myself down and be as calm as possible. But some people, it's through the roof. They cannot help but just panic. And for what? You're totally fine. Again, mistakes do happen. But for people with anxiety, bro, they just want everything to be perfect. You just want everything to go a particular way, the way you planned it inside your head. So again, man, there's not really a cure for this. There's not really a cure. It's a battle that you have to deal with every day, and you have to remind yourself that, okay, I'm having those, I'm having those anxious thoughts. I'm about to do something. I'm already overthinking. Sometimes you'll be thinking that you're procrastinating, but actually you're anxious. You'll be putting something off for a long time. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And you think I'm just a lazy person. No. When we unpack what's going on behind, you're anxious. You're like, what the hell? The reason why you've been off putting this thing for a long time as you've been is because you're anxious. You feel uneasy. You don't feel comfortable doing it now. You're overthinking, how am I gonna make that thing perfect? You're still trying to come up with a plan in your mind, so you can do that thing to its. Some people think, oh, you're so well put together. Thanks, it's because of my anxiety. That's what people don't. You'll look at people who've got their things in order. But when you unpack, those people are the most anxious people you come across. When you actually, when you actually stay with them and live with them and see how their day-to-day lives pan out, when you listen to them when they speak, you will see that they are very careful people. They do not want anything to go wrong. Of course, that's a good thing, right? Because it makes you cautious, but at the same time, it can be a monster that can take so many opportunities away from your life because you're constantly overthinking, you're constantly uneasy, you constantly live in fear of anything dangerous that might happen to you. So, you know, it's something that you have to challenge every day. Tell yourself that, don't worry, those things are not gonna happen. Let me control what I can and leave the rest to whatever. Control the controllables, leave the uncontrollables. So that's something that you have to constantly tell yourself that, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Relax, calm down, calm down. It's not going to go down that way. Because if you do not do that, it's a problem. It's a problem. Some people, why are you staying in? And you can actually tell them, I'm actually scared to go outside tonight. I'm scared something bad might happen. And they're like, what? Are you for real? You don't want to tell people that. So, you just you just make it seem like, oh, I'm sick or something, but nobody, you're scared. Oh man, man, the life I've lived, man, like, it's so sad actually when I think about it. How many things I've missed out on, how much pussy I've missed out on because of anxiety. It's sad, man. This is DeadMf and I'm signing out.